Well, as of right now, we're still early today. It's for coming off the late start. We start later today when we get back late like that. So I have no updates on anything injury wise at this point. They're still working through the treatment process and all the other things they do post game. So normally I'd have something for you, but because of the schedule, I don't at the moment. So that stuff will have to be held for a later date. Just so you guys know, just as the week schedule goes, going into the bye week, we brought everybody. Players will be in today. Our coaches will be in a full work day tomorrow, and then we take the mandatory Thursday through Sunday off. So our players will get tomorrow off. It works weird with the bye week or with the Monday night game because we bring them in late today, and then there's tomorrow technically would be their off day in a normal process. It's the most sore they are after a game, and so we're just going to cut them loose. They need the recovery anyway, so they'll be off tomorrow and through Sunday. We'll be back Monday for normal practice week. So. Yeah, I mean, I think we didn't ask a lot of Mason in the second half of that game. I thought we were running the ball well, and we were going to keep doing that. But to me, it's very similar to, kind of how Chicago went. Like, had a good lead, and we're running the ball well, and we just had a chance. Now, I also called it very conservatively in that regard because I was trying to make sure that because our defense was playing lights out, and I was just going to keep running the football. And we ran it well, and we were running it well, and it worked out for us. But yeah, Mason managed the game well. He did a nice job of just making sure that we didn't have anything disastrous happen because at that point, that's really all that was going to help them get back in that game. And he did a nice job of making sure we were clean operationally and the ball was secured. And it was good. It was a good, boring way to finish the game. And, look, I'm all for it. But that's a good thing. There is lessons to be learned in that for sure. And better every week. Really impressive performance by him. Dominant performance. That was a matchup on their interior line versus our interior line that we felt like was to our advantage, even with Jeff out. And really, those guys stepped up around him, too. I thought Sebastian Joseph Day probably had his best day, most impactful day he's had. He's been a good, solid player for us, but he made some impact plays. And then Lynch and Anderson both played well as well. I mean, they did a nice job in their roles. So, but Sweat was a force. And when you got a guy like that can get pressure on the quarterback at his size, that can stop the run and make plays laterally along the line of scrimmage, he was really disruptive in that game and showed up in a matchup we felt really good about.
Getting to know everything you can about Will, finding out if he's your guy long term, giving him a chance to develop and get over the youthful mistakes and all that. Is that accurate?
Yes.
View of how you guys are looking at it?
That's exactly how we look at it. And I appreciate Mason's professionalism. I appreciate how prepared he was and ready to go into the game. But Will is our starting quarterback. And I said it last night, and I'll reiterate it again, that when he's healthy, he's starting. And hopefully he's healthy for Indy and we're ready to roll, and he's the starting quarterback because it's hard to play quarterback in the NFL, as everybody knows. There does take some development. Guys make young player mistakes. You see it all across the league right now. And we're going to find out everything about Will that we can, and he's going to continue to grow and get better and play better. He needs to play better for us, and at the end of the day, I believe that he will, and that's where I'm at with that whole thing. There's no controversy, there's no second guessing. That's what's happening. So that's probably as clear as I can state it. A lot of things that Burks does that helps us in some of the run game and some of the blocking stuff. But yeah, that's the primary reason is to keep them. I mean, we rotate a lot. Our personnel are pretty well. Westbrook plays quite a bit. Burks plays quite a bit. We try to rotate those guys when we can. But it's more for just the packaging of the plays and to make sure those guys are staying fresh. And Hops, we weren't throwing the ball a lot either. But at 32 years old and being mindful of the length of the season to make sure that he feels good all the way through the entire end of it, and that we have him for all the things we need him for, which is passing situations certainly, and then third down in the red zone. Those are spots where he really helps us.